I'm on this mission, and it's all about self-improvement. And I've been taking part in workshops and a few other things because I'm trying to connect with others that are on the self-healing journey and all kinds of healing, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, all that fun stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that I could do as far as pre-recorded because I've got some skill sets that have to do with video editing and a bunch of other stuff that but I don't want it to be about graphics and how cool my video looks. Who gives a damn about the background? Who cares if how I'm dressed, as long as I'm not looking too bummy, right? At least I shaved. But this video, I just wanted to do a clip that had to do about the truth about trauma, at least in my experience. I'm 47 years old, and I've connected with others that are out there that are, of course, of all different age groups. And trauma is not easy at all. No one would expect it to be. And what's hard about trauma is that, as much as we want to hide it, some of us want to hide it, as hard it is because it's easily identifiable, right? I'm hoping that my microphone has been connected here. I just be loving this technology stuff, but just in case if it wasn't caught, again, 47 years old. I've met all kinds of people in different age groups that have experienced trauma. We try to hide it, and it's not, it's easily identifiable. As much as we try to play cool, like everything's all right, and, we're going out there, we're trying to socialize, we're trying to connect people. It is not easy for us, or it hadn't been for me for a long time. And it's different now because I'm connecting with all different kinds of people from the U.S. and beyond. Across the salt pond, I'm talking with people in the UK, Scotland, Ireland, India, Australia, and it's a different world for me, and it's wild because I'm living in this kind of isolated state because I don't drive anywhere anymore. I'm working up to that. But something that's been a real thing that I think I've been wanting to talk about. I know I've been wanting to talk about. That's not an easy deal to talk about. That, my mind, I'm like, I wish people understood and da-da-da-da. And I'm at the point right now where, I want to be vulnerable. I want to be comfortable about it. Maybe I'm going to say something for somebody else out there that they're like, oh, hell yeah, da-da-da-da. Or maybe because they're feeling it. Or if not, it's for somebody out there that is, we're human. We can judge, right? We don't want to. We say we don't want to. Some of us say, I don't judge. And we're judging all the time, everything. But maybe for those people who don't intend to judge, find themselves judging, it's always best to not judge something. It's just better to try to understand if we can. If we don't understand something or if we can't relate, it's okay to not want something in your life that's not relatable or that you can't understand. But sometimes there's something that you want in your life and you're trying to understand. It's somebody that you may care about. And you're like, I just don't get you. I don't understand. I'm trying to get through to you. And I can say here in my shoes, in my camp, I've got people that I've known since high school here in Florida, and other people that I've met over the years through my through my younger days that have tried to connect with me, and they're just like, this fool just doesn't stay connected. He says that he's going to come hang out. He says he wants to do something with us, but when it all comes down to it, he may come out one time, he may not come out at all. but he's avoiding it. And the truth is because there's a 24/7 spotlight that I had on me. Always self-conscious. It's just like, am I going to say something that's going to come off weird? Am I going to do something that's going to affect the next person? Because I can tell you that the type of person that I am, I don't want to affect anyone adversely. But the sad part is because of my trauma and just not dealing with stuff appropriately, getting the proper help and working on self-improvement. And it's gotten better over the years. It has. It's a slow process, healing traumas or anything else. It's not like your body. It doesn't happen overnight. It just takes time, right? Here recently things came together with my dynamic self-awareness thing that I've been talking about. But, yeah, that spotlight, it's a bitch because I trip up. I have tripped up and I have affected people. Part of the trauma is going from 0 to 1,000 real quick, and not just with anger, but with emotions, just left and right, just switching back and forth. There's an instability to the mindset. And then when I found myself out of this situation, I would ponder and beat myself up and then scare myself out of connecting with others. And it's sad because, there's people that I care about, that I've come to care about, that are like, oh man, Jay's cool, he's funny and he's sweet and he knows how to do things, and whenever he goes out, he bugs out, but he's so damn recluse. It's a bitch. It's a bitch because truthfully, it goes right back to the dynamic self-awareness thing. It's about the energy. I feel other people's energy, and when I feel like they're stable, their energy is more stable. Because, when I went through therapy a few years back from when I got sick, I met this wonderful therapist. Her name was Lisa Lello. You ever find her? If she sees this, love you, girl. She's amazing. She's this, she didn't look at it, she's like this 50-year-old Brooklynite, petite black woman, beautiful braids. She would ride up to, because I was doing group therapy at the time, so it was kind of like a full-time job. We had to go meet at a building, but she'd roll up in her little Harley or whatever. Not even little, it was a big Harley. That thing banged some sound, and she was this little thing, and she'd ride around on this thing. But when we met, I told her, I said, just don't sugarcoat shit for me. Don't. Please don't. I want you to be that hard love person. And they were, and she sat with me and she was like, you got this energy about you that's just like this. It goes, you got peaks and valleys. You're not that stable. And I wanted it. I was like, Lisa, how do I get it? She was from everything from looking up resources to pilling a skill, if I needed it. Basically taking some kind of psych med, but then of course not relying on that, but looking for resources and things to connect with that helped with inner child healing. And I was getting it, but I wasn't exactly getting it. There goes that lovely train. Choo-choo! Anyway, let me wait for this friggin' thing to go by. I just love working outside now, but it sucked to acknowledge that that's just been the thing, this instability of energy and what it came from. Because in my upbringing, conditioning is a huge word in the mental health world, and I want to clarify that. Yeah, you'll hear terminology from me that has to do with like acronyms, PTSD and blase blah, ADHD. But I like to use kinder words. Try to save that kind of stuff on repeat for physicians, the people that are, in the medical field and all that stuff. I I say anxiety, I'm concerned about the future, worried about the future, depression. That's stuff that happened in the past, stuff like that, right? But conditioning is huge because through your younger years, that's a huge impact. The things that happen in your younger years, and they stick with you, they roll with you. As much as we try to say, no, that's not the case with me. No. Yeah, all the way through and through, and we can recover from it. But conditioning is everything. And in my upbringing, I had a lot of trauma. Father died, and then his father died, my grandfather, and then, I'm not afraid to say it, sexual abuse, and then, disbandments from friends and family, drugs and violence and all this other stuff. But then also it's the treatment throughout the years, dealing with people who were unforgiving, people who was like in my face, like, oh, you got a fucking problem, blah, 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 and making me feel smaller instead of being kind. Some people out there are so fortunate to have great situations where they have friends and family, especially family members, that were kind and sweet and saying, hey, we don't want you to feel this way. Come on out. We're gonna work on these things with you, and blah 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 blah. There's some great situations that are out there, but we don't all get it. We wind up in we just wind up in abusive situations. We don't get to pick our families. We don't get to pick the people that are associated with them, whether it's their extended family members or their friends. And when you're young, you got no control over that stuff, so you get this experience, and when there's a lot of negativity, it causes a lot of damage. Causes so much damage. And a lot of us just phase through life with this damage, and we want something, but we just don't know how to obtain it. And then there's people like me that through tragedy, it's just one change after another, and I don't want to learn that way no more, because it's the loss. It sucks to learn through loss. It's like that kid that sticks the fork in the socket, doesn't know any better. It's like parents are like, hey, don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself. And sorry, I got neighbors arriving here next door. It's a little noisy, but being that kid that's like, yeah, I won't do it, over and over. Only way to learn is through pain, loss, tragedy for some of us. And it's not fun. And I've gradually learned the part that I don't like is affecting others. Whether it's, having them question, like, oh, he seemed so cool. He just came into my life and he dipped out. Or if not, even just a way of leaving, just ghosting, no contact, or even getting upset because there's something that's associated there that usually isn't even the case. Meaning like a situation that reminded me from something from the past, and I just took on this defense mode, and I turned into the Punisher, which is another conversation for another time. Being a Punisher is not a good thing. It's terrible. You want to talk about burning bridges and loss of love and relationship? Damn. I was a pro at that, and I don't want it anymore. I've been focusing on that, and it's my temperament, and especially focusing on my energy, because that's where it all starts. Once I start feeling the energy just vibing in a real messed up way, I know that at that point I got to get in control, because the decisions from the emotions that stem from that are not going to work out in my best interest. They never have. Got another neighbor. Hold up. But I'm tired. I've been tired. And that's why the change is happening. Because I want to have a positive social life and connect with others, and it's been happening. And it's crazy that I've been in this situation where I'm always at home, And this is likely the most healthy social situation I've ever been in because I'm generating and creating it. It's the hunger, the passion now for connecting with people. That's amazing. And got a little tribe of especially dudes. I've been in some. There's another one, another train. There's men's support groups, mainly one, that I've met some really interesting people, some real awesome fellas, and they're on this mission. And I'm like, I was inspired. I'm like, these guys are brave men helping men, finding a brotherhood, creating a brotherhood. Choo choo. Hold on, let me let Thomas ride on by. Ding, ding, ding. Such a beautiful day out. Love it. But it's so inspiring because they're strong. Not that they're, able to lift 1,000 pounds. Not that they're running miles. You know what it is? It's that inner strength, that passion of, hey, listen, we all know life can suck. And, in its moments, it's like I always say, I learned that from a buddy, life is great. It's just the circumstances that suck. And, when these circumstances occur and they create more circumstances, whether they just happen or if not, we allow it or we generate it, whether it's voluntary or not, self-inflicted pains and shit. That stuff can happen, but we want to combat that stuff together with teamwork and encourage other people who, because I've discussed it with other friends and family where it's like, I believe it's a timeline that we're on. Some people are further on a timeline of healing, and we're trying to inspire, talk to others and change them. And let's face it, it's like one of my exes told me, you need to focus on helping and doing for other people because it's going to make you feel better. I was like, yeah, whatever. It just wasn't in me at the time. I was too worried about me. And she was right. She was right. And it's true when you help others. And how I want to help is help others be strong. I've always had a strong character. Yeah, I failed, but I've tried to fix things, bounce back, whatever it may be. And here I am, with this whole neuropathy thing here recently. And, I get little residuals. Well, like right now, I'm feeling a little bit of weird stuff in the skin of my calves or whatever. It's been kind of on and off all day, but no more seizures and all that other crazy stuff, pains and junk. I'm working on it. But I fought. I found resources, and I pushed myself. And I want to do my best to encourage others to do the same. And it heals me as well. I like to feel like I can help others. I enjoy it. And if I see that I can help someone, it's a beautiful thing. It fills my cup, as I've heard before. And it helps me live my days more in peace. Guess this bird likes what I'm saying. Oh, it's dropping some beats right there. I'm just kidding. But yeah, trauma, it's not easy. I wish people that didn't experience heavy trauma, they can really understand us, because we want to have some semblance of a normal life. We do. We want to feel a type of inner peace that allows us to connect and do things normally, right? But there's a program that's going on the inside. It's so hard. That channel is always there in the background, and it's staticky, and it's loud, and it's piercing, and it's just and we don't want that thing to have an empowerment on us. And it's hurt me through the years. I've lost so many situations, some great, some great opportunities. Being fearful. Really have. Relationship opportunities. And business opportunities, career opportunities because of that trauma, baby. It's a bitch. Creates that self-doubt, fears, all kinds of things. And I see the question marks over people's heads looming. What's going on with this guy? Mostly seems like a great, he's smart, he's funny, and he's got da-da-da-da, whatever kind of attributes that they could say that's positive about me, but then that trauma is allowed. There's a lot of negative attributes that go along with it, if that's the right way to put it. They can see the fear, they can see the doubt, they can see the instability, the unreliability, just not being reliable. That's a huge thing. And it sucks being on the other side and seeing it in their eyes. Because it's like, if you only knew how bad I don't want those things in me. But if there's anything that I can tell anyone out there that's feeling all this, connect with something out there. I'll always say it. This is my stitch. What's the recipe to your healing? I think for me, I could always say dynamic self-awareness, especially lately, was a huge thing that became the glue for all the other resources that I'd run into that had helped me along the way. But it enhanced those things. And it's a lot of things. The therapy, the eating more with better nutrition, the physicality and doing the exercise, being creative, and a few other things. You got to start with something. That's something that connects. And if it's something that's just personal to you to start with, like what happened for me, yeah, that's great. It starts to build. It's like, think of it like Legos. You start with one brick, then you wind up building your castle, baby. And it's all here. I ain't got nothing. Everything that I own is either in a room or in an attic, and it's not a lot. But you know what? I can die in peace knowing that that's all I got, because I got more than that. I do, with the people that I have in my life and the progress that I'm making. I think the acknowledgement, I know the acknowledgement of my progress. That's just so much joy that fills me up. And we all deserve that. And I hope people that are victims of trauma, of terrible conditioning, especially young people, if there's anyone young that's out there listening to this, you're living in a world right now where information is in abundance. This whole internet game is insane. It's great. You can find a lot of good shit. Get on it. Don't be 47 and finally getting some really big things taken care of. Get started now, because losing opportunity, losing time, it's not a fun deal to look back and be like, damn, I could have happened. I should have. Well, I would have. It's not fun. And for those of you who are my age, look, I'm 47. I'm a young ass 47. And I love it. Be loving creativity, anime, being out, bugging out, blah, say, blah. Look, at the spring is coming up when they open up the park over here. We're going to go swimming with the manatees, if they're still around. Be youthful. Enjoy yourself. No one said that this age had to be all about, hey, I got to be super serious. And I love it, because there's a lot of people that are my age that are finally starting to feel that whole live youthful. Go dancing, damn it. Go live a very special life. When I wind up back on the road, you damn straight I'm going to be going out dancing and having a great time, socializing, connecting with people, and living the life that I really want, because I miss those things. It's all about generating and then causing abundance. So that way, you got this treasure trove of memories, and you're giving yourself life experiences that humble you and make you feel energetic. Yo, I keep telling people, when I'm 80, as long as the good God out there that I believe in and the universe allows me to live that older age, hey, look, I'm going to stay stout. I'm going to stay strong. I'm going to be doing my thing. Unless there's something that happens along the way that, incapacitates me. Even if I'm in a wheelchair, bless, hope it never happens. I'm going to be on that wheelchair. There's people that are doing the Paralympics. They inspire me. I'm like, damn, they're not able to walk and stuff like that, or they got some kind of prosthetic, but look, they're living a life of badassery, and that's what I want to do from here on forward. I want to enjoy myself when I get much older. I want to be 80, living like I'm 50, still 40, 30, 20, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, what's this old dude rocking a, Gandalf beard? He said, what's he doing with his half cap on, and he's just bobbing, whatever, getting down, talking to everybody, jamming. That's going to be me. I deserve to have that kind of life. I don't want that dredge, that sadness, sitting in the recliner and just watching TV, watching the old reruns. Yeah, I don't want that energy. I want to be vibrant. Trauma got me. It did. But no more. Little by little, pulling away has been a wonderful thing, and living better. And I'm seeing it's into the looking glass and into the mirror, and reflecting, and putting everything under a fine, in a good microscope, and going with the fine, fine-tooth comb, brushing through things and resolving a lot of things to help me live more with passion and vibrance. Trauma sucks, but things can change. Things can change. And it doesn't matter what stage, like what you got going on in your life, whether you rich, poor, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Look, I was in group therapy, and I'm not going to drag this on too long, but I was in group therapy. And I'll talk about this a whole lot because it matters. There's young people that have been through some trauma, but there's older people too, and whether they were poor or rich. I saw a couple of really rich dudes walked in. I'm like, what the hell are you in here for? You driving in here with a car that costs more than most people's homes, and you here? Why? And once they open their mouth, I'm like, damn, money don't mean shit. Money will buy you temporary good feels and joys or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the ultimate joy, the ultimate inner peace, that good energy, that vibe, you can strike a million easy, still be fucked up. They were fucked up. There is no prejudice when it comes to this thing. There's no discrimination when it comes to trauma and disorders. It's amazing when the things that I learned that I will be discussing, but when it comes to trauma, put together that recipe that's going to help you heal. Like I said, the internet is out there. Connect with something. And I'll always emphasize the one thing that worked for me is getting in tune with energy. When I say energy, not the energy that you're talking about for like sleep and working out and that kind of, I'm talking about your spiritual energy. And I'm not talking about religion stuff. I'm talking about your actual soul, who we are being, that neutral energy, finding it. That GPS, I can't wait till my buddy starts bringing out his thing with dynamic awareness, because he's building stuff about it, and I'm going to be helping him with it as much as I can along the way. But knowing your neutral energy is so huge, because it's like knowing your home, the location, and having a GPS to find your way back when distortions do happen, disturbance in the force, if you will. Yeah, It's real. I got a lot of beliefs that I'm comfortable with now because I'm living in a time that there's a lot of hyper awareness, this questioning of life and what it really is out there. People are trying to seek answers, but till we really know the truth, I'm vibing on a lot of these things that a lot of others are vibing on, and it's helping people heal. And I'm on that pursuit, and it's been an amazing pursuit. But I'm going to sign out. I've been rambling on too much. You all have a glorious, blessed day. Take care. Thanks for listening.